Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings. Today, we're so excited to have you again. Peter Obi is still proving and showing that he's overly interested in the face of Nigeria, though he has not assumed as the president of the country, still struggling it out in the law court. But he took out time to talk about the situation of things as it has to do with insecurity in Nigeria, especially in the North Central and in the southeast. For him, he said it's overly worrisome. Took out time to give details of what has happened thus far in the first quarter and the necessary step that has been taken. And he also gave his recommendations. We are going to be looking at full details of these in a jiffy. But before we continue, please, if you're not subscribed to our channel and do well, hit on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish our videos. According to his writing on his social media page, Peter Obi said that the rising insecurity in the country leading to mindless bloodletting, particularly in the north central zone of the country, and the continued disruption of business and social activities in the southeast are all becoming very worrisome. He went further to say that the violent attack in the north central state of Benue and Plateau lately took a new twist with a high record of kidnapping, arson, and loss of human lives. According to the first quarter mass atrocity casualty tracking report, over 1,230 Nigerians were killed. He said 79 of them security operatives, with over 600 adoption in the first quarter of this year alone. With what has been happening in the North Central and Zamfara State lately, the figure as of today will be mind-boggling, even far more than the deaths recorded in Russia stroke Ukraine. It's unacceptable that hundreds of innocent lives will continue to be wasted in Nigeria needlessly through communal clashes, bandit and kidnapping activities. The situation in the Mangu local government area of Plateau State has raised a lot of anxiety because of the number of lives and properties lost with very little resistance from security operatives. Also disturbing is the continued disruption of business and social activities in the southeast region over the sit-at-home directive to be coming from the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, when the body has publicly denied issuing such directives. What is going on in the southeast, therefore, is essentially a criminal activity that must be nipped in the bud with all hands on decks, security agency and the people alike. The Southeast governors are to be commended for their renewed effort at curbing the menace, but there is a need to be more strategic and intelligence driven in our approach to reducing the suffering of innocent people. Security agencies should take necessary and quick steps to arrest the ugly incident, because the country cannot just be spilling the blood of innocent citizens. We as a people, through our various governments, should up our value for human lives in the way and manner we respond to issues that touches lives. The implication of an insecure environment for development are far-reaching, because no investor will consider going to an area where their resources will not be safe and secured. Therefore, I would like to urge critical stakeholders in this area, traditional Christian and Muslim leaders, to continue pushing for peace among their people in a way and manner they conduct themselves. Various governments at all levels should also take deliberate steps to address the issue of poverty and youth unemployment, because the provision of stomach infrastructure is a surer way to tackle insecurity. Wow, my colleague is in the house here, and we want to talk about this issue. There's something very interesting, especially in the last tweet there. And Peter Obi said that if you take care of the stomach infrastructure, that is the surest way to fight against insecurity. How true is this, taking into consideration what is happening in the southeast? Do you think that if the stomach infrastructure of these people are well taken care of, it will shorten the interest we have been seeing in the southeast in fighting against, the government there?
Yeah, indeed, there's a similarity. There's actually some sort of similarity between the insecurity going on there and even that of the North Central. Now, I'll quickly explain this the best way I can. The fact that they are using the excuse of the release of MNK as an excuse to perpetrate crime, you would agree with me that it has gone beyond that. You see some persons who go out of their way to open their wares on a Monday, those who need to fry uh, bean cakes, those who needed to open their shop with a little chaoses here and there. You see some of these guys coming in insisting that they want to do sit at home. And what is amazing about this whole thing is the fact that it doesn't just end there. You hear things like kidnap. You hear
Yeah.
things like they have robbed some people's car, and you get to see those cars in some way in the deep forest of the southeastern region. And those cars find a way of being sold out, which means in the name of MNK, some of them perpetrate evil deliberately. And I keep saying this: if you release MNK, will this crime cease? When you allow these guys to get comfortable making billions in nefarious crimes, and all of a sudden
Pretending.
pretending, yeah, that's another thing. Now if eventually you now give them another way of making money, which is go get a legitimate job, make good living out of it, would they in all honesty stop? Imagine you paying someone maybe a empower kind of payment for 30 days. You say you're going to pay them 30,000, and in one move, just one move, they make like how many million, and you expect them in all honesty to go back to that vulcanizer, go into farming,
Never.
and it's almost impossible.
Sure.
So it's going to be rehabilitation will take place, and there has to be laws that are enforceable.
Yes.
Whereby, okay, we have rehabilitated you, you want to be a vulcanizer, we'll train you to be a vulcanizer, we'll give you vulcanizer machines to do. But if you are caught in any crime, it's going to be death by hanging.
Wow.
That way you are going to get it done. And also the issue of MK, maybe you should let him go, release him, and let's see how he plays out. For that of the North Central and that of the North generally, it has become a way of life,
Yeah.
to the point that they are now comfortable doing that same thing, and this needs to be cut now.
Yes.
Now, if you do the same thing that you've said before about Southeast, do that in the North Central, you will find that it's almost difficult. So if you see foreigners coming in the name of saying that they are Northerners, persecute them to the needful. It's a long walk, but it's achievable with sincerity of purpose.
All right, thank you very much. And fairly recently, we've heard about the army complaining that jihadis from Niger, Lake Chad, or Chad, and one other country have invaded the northern part of the country, and they are taxing our farmers. And the big question is, this current government, what are they doing to curb all of this? Because I'm just wondering, one of the thing most important expectation for Nigerians is the issue of insecurity being dealt with.
Honestly,
I know that the new guy on board has already started taking some moves towards, putting that under check. And I just heard him talked about the issue of Southeast, that he doesn't intend to kill, but if killing is going to be what will put Anambra State at rest, then so be it. And also in the in the northern part of the country, he said there is nothing like talking to terrorists and also to bandits. It's going to be fire for fire. Do you think that what we saw in Buhari's administration in terms of curbing insecurity, that this current administration will curb it with the advent of new military chiefs?
well, I've learned not to predict anything yet. This is just barely a few weeks, months into his tenure. Let's see how it plays out. If eventually he will make true to his words. Words are talk is cheap, like they say, but let action speak louder than even the voice.
All right, thank you very much. That's what we would like to leave it. Go to our comment section. Let's